Gee.
Yeah, Brandon doesn't trust me or something.
Well, Brandon isn't in session, so
So true. He just has to watch and hold his tongue.
surely nothing bad will happen.
Surely nothing bad will happen. It won't be like when I took a little walk with Sin.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely not.
Basically, yeah.
You wouldn't do that twice in the same campaign. I
No,
mean,
of
kind of
course
three
not.
times.
Mhm.
Third time's the charm.
So true.
What were you up to today?
Uh, had to walk to therapy, because the bus was delayed, which was fun. That was like an unexpected mile. But I got there on time.
Hmm.
Um, napped after. I figured out the crazy fatigue I've been feeling recently is probably because my Lexapro dose got changed a bit ago. Uh, so it's nice to at least know where that's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, I did watch some of The Edge of Sleep this morning, although I think I told you that.
I think you
Um,
told me you watched episode 1, yeah.
yeah, and then I went and watched episode 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, when I woke up, I ran some errands, picked up cat medicine and groceries, and then got home, and now I'm here.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
cool.
hmm What about you?
I mean, law school work, mainly.
Mm.
Um, see, I did prep the next campaign selection document for Senate Garden.
Oh boy.
Hey,
I
that's exciting.
I don't know how session 80 is gonna go, so I was like, you know what?
Uh-oh.
I have proof. I have proof. Hold on, I'll send this to Athena
Okay.
because I can
I'm
because
excited.
it's it is constructed now just in case. Why are you looking at me angrily, Brandon? You couldn't read it.
That's not fuck, wrong emotion. Just I was trying to find more. It's probably better that one, but I want like the eyes blacked out more.
Yeah, that's completely different emotions.
I don't read.
It's just looking.
Use your eyes.
I'm sorry, I
I
didn't know
don't
that.
wanna.
I didn't know you
Autism
were
up in here.
autistic. Yeah.
Good God, guys. Hold on. Ugh, I'm doing a quiz right now.
An autism quiz? That's crazy.
A calculus quiz, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah. All right then. Okay.
Yay, Grim Covenant.
So true. I'm a party member now. They kicked out the
Uh,
others.
yeah,
Am
I don't
still
need any
there?
of the. I don't need any of them.
Just the three of us.
Just you.
No, just me. Solo and
Yeah.
Grimco.
Well,
Good
you
luck.
and me
Oh, no, Brandon.
and Kira.
You two can do it. You three can do it.
Great.
Well, you have a downtime to get to, Caleb. So, what are you wishing to do?
Uh, I mean, I think. Yeah, I think Angel would probably be moseying over to see what Radovan's up to.
Okay. Then, as you head over, he's in the command building. Um, if you kind of see him, he's actually in more of like a workshop area, assembling the rubies in kind of a pattern, looking over notes, writing down aspects of the spell, probably working on the time dilation room. He also seems to be even more pale than usual. He's taken to using a cane after he came back from the mission. But he'll see you enter and give you a nod. Hello, Angel.
Hello, Radovan.
To what do
What do
I
you,
owe
work
this pleasure?
Oh, honestly, I just came to chat, really. No specific intention this time. If you'd like, I could help with, some of whatever this is.
No. You are, I'm sorry to say, not as experienced as I.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually was curious if you would maybe, tell me about some of your experiences, if you don't mind. I was out of commission for so long.
Well, what do you want to know?
Mhm. Oh, there's a lot. Um, I was. Well, I'm honestly curious about you as well. I gather you're pretty well known, but I only know you as I know you now.
Well, again, I have much history, but I was born on the Prime Ring during the first bleeding of our father, Sin. From there, I walked the world, the first of the vampire. And I got up to much trouble in my young age, but perhaps it was more mundane trouble. Sometimes I was a boon, others I was a bane. But that is how it started. You can see he'll fidget with a ruby and take one of his nails and just chop it in two, like he was like slicing butter.
And I think Angel probably does look impressed as he does that. They've probably seen him do some crazy shit, but it's still not really less of a shock.
A Radovan raise who is honestly weaker than you've ever seen him is still strong enough to cut through a ruby.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of impressed you're still able to do that.
The years have been long, and at certain points you realize that you have more strength than you think you do. You've been through worse. A bit of hunger, well, that has been, unfortunately, a constant during much of my time.
I think Angel would kind of nod. Um, I would have to deal myself up some first, but I could give you more blood if you need.
At a certain point, it becomes less useful. I've already taken much blood. It is mostly empty calories. But I do appreciate the offer. Perhaps, if you have some to spare.
I mean, would Angel be able to quickly spend a recovery to get a health block back?
Sure.
Okay. They'll just spend one, so they're back up to 2 for the moment. Yeah, I can spare some. Not everything, of course, but
Why not? I'm sure that you would make a formidable vampire.
uh, that's quite the compliment. But I don't think that's what I want out of my life.
And what do you believe the life of a vampire is?
A long one.
They call me morbid.
I just. I. Have you loved people who were mortal?
I have.
How did you deal with. I mean, with them leaving, or even knowing that eventually they would leave?
I turned them into a vampire. The great gift of the vampire is that you can induct those who are worthy into your circle. This is what I did. The real heartbreak comes when the hunter finds your beloved, strings him up, tortures them in the sun, and just when you arrive, kills them after they have been begging for death. This is the loss that happens. I suppose it could happen to any mortal, but the unfortunate curse of the vampire is that statistically it must happen to you or to one you know. When you deal in infinite lifetimes, every terrible thing will come to pass, and every good one as well. But this is often seen by many as not enough. I choose to be more grateful for the gift, though. But you think that you would pass by leaving your loved ones behind? see then. Well,
I don't know.
I hate to say this, but once again, this is the truth for so many mortals. The son outlives the father. You outlive your daughter sometimes. Every problem of immortality is just a problem of mortality. Extended. Repeated.
Suppose. Yeah, haven't really been sure. About Gunnevar. I'm glad he lived a long life, but it was so short. He passed. Well, mostly passed long before I could see him again.
The lives of mortals are infinitesimally small compared to the lives of you or I. You blink and they're gone. They hold so dearly to their lives at some moments, and then at other times give it away. If they only knew the power within their own blood. And yet, they'll throw it away on a whim. Sometimes it makes me crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. You have a much wider perspective.
Yet I do. Although, many would say that it is actually a narrower perspective. They just haven't seen the truth of things yet. Or perhaps I have just seen too much. It's a possibility.
How many vampire have you made?
At this point, well, easily 10,000? Perhaps more. However, at this point, every one of them that I've made, except for one or two, has been killed. The
Sorry.
bloodline of the vampire continues beyond. We are immortal, yes, although often our lifetimes are far shorter than a mortal's.
Sorry to hear that. It's quite a lot of loss to endure.
I think you actually might mean that, don't you?
I do.
Fascinating. Many would consider it a great thing, a punishment.
I don't think so. You're living as you were made to live.
I wouldn't say that. Us being harmed by sun and moon That was later, as well as many other curses that were placed on our race. Not as intended, but is given to us by the world.
Who laid those curses? The high gods?
Oh,
The other high gods?
no. What high gods? Our vulnerability to sun and moonlight laid by Choron and Aurelian. The dragons, gold and metallic, are forbiddance from a resident without invitation, a mage of some renown many hundreds of years ago now. Same for running water and many other things. It did not come from gods. Although I do believe that there was a god in the unclaimed lands that was involved for the stake in the heart. A particular curse that got around the wards of one of my Dracul long ago. But no high gods. Just other people wishing to restrict and limit the power of sin, the gifts that were given.
Cruel.
What did you say?
Oh, I said that's cruel.
Yeah.
Suppose I can understand a fear for survival, but
Well, certain animals across the animal kingdom create long-lasting traps and affect their environment. A simple beaver can make a dam that can affect an entire valley for generations. The animals there had come to expect the water to flow in one direction, and with the beaver dam, it flows another, destroying ecosystems, driving out some animals, bringing in others. It is the nature of things. I do not hate the natural order. I have embraced it, as many of the vampire do. We understand how the world works. Our eyes see longer. Our brains think farther. It is only sentient mortals that rage against the system that they are even a part of. And they cry foul when they think they have been wronged. The bird does not cry foul when its eggs are eaten by the snake. It is just the world. The snake must eat. And sometimes the beaver builds the dam. What can you do?
I think Angel would be kind of... They would nod at that, like they're taking in what he's saying.
I'm sure that you will see this in the long run. But until you reach several thousand years old, with memories spanning every situation that could be seen, with so much knowledge to draw from. At a certain point, the objections, from what I've been told by my Dracul, are more akin to a toddler objecting to a bedtime set by a parent. They do not understand that all must sleep. And them most of all. They do not understand the reasons. And they are far too young, far too bold to truly grasp it. To try and explain to them REM sleep, the building of cells, the growth of bone into muscle. They could never understand. So you say go to sleep. I am father. And child goes to sleep, eventually. Unfortunately, though, this toddler has access to a wizard's wand. And with this wand, they kill their mother and their father. They kill their neighbors. They burn down the house. And to keep warm, they keep burning down the village until, well, we are huddled here in an apocalyptic wasteland, crowding around a dying flame, and yet the toddlers still wish to burn things. What can you do? They found the wand, just as the beaver found the wood. It's just that this is a much more exceptional tree. You can see that he'd kind of almost drift off a bit as he seems to focus more intently on the moving of the rubies, the writing down of spell components and things like that.
I think Angel would watch pretty intently. You were right that I don't have much experience with this. Would you be willing to walk me through what you're doing?
Later, you would likely need about 100, 200 years of training to understand the nuances of the spell I weave now. You still barely have a conception of ether flow, high god shear, the limitations of the phlogiston, concepts that have been known to the vampire for generations. How we can harness magic, understand it in its most nuanced form, even manipulate small red spiral events through the clashing of our nature. And you watch as, from his fingertips, some bolts of red lightning leap out, Angel, and then subside.
That is quite impressive.
I seem to believe that you mean that as well.
There's a lot of things I haven't seen yet. I would like to see more. Red. Well, would Angel have known much about red spirals? Or just what we found out on B's mission? Which was not much, but...
Now that your memories are unlocked, when you think back, you know quite a bit about Red Spiral events and how they actually work.
Interesting. Is it, safe for you to manipulate it like that?
Of course. Although, I'm sure there are others that would say otherwise. They just haven't figured out the nuances yet. I remember on certain rings on different dimensions, they panicked when they saw fire. They said it was dangerous. Snuff it, put it out. They could not understand that fire is the impetus of civilization. They were snuffing out their future. This is what children do.
Suppose a certain amount of danger is required for anything worthwhile, really.
I suppose. A very basic way to look at it. But you are not completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, care too, of course. Fire in the wrong hands, it could certainly be as dangerous as most people say, but in a hand that's experienced, or is willing to be a little burned to get that experience, well, that's how they grow.
Radovan will just nod and continue working.
And, I mean, even though they really don't have the grasp on magic, I think they will kind of try to see if they can piece together kind of anything of what he's doing.
Oh, you get nothing.
Okay, fair.
He's multiple orders of magnitude above you. You're looking... It's like if I brought you in and said, watch Albert Einstein. Pick up what he's doing. Here, there's Stephen Hawking. Learn Hawking radiation just by him writing equations.
Okay.
Before you get to anything, I'd have to teach you a derivative.
Okay.
And we'd have to get into calculus. The very lowest level. Multiple orders. So we first have to get you to, basic addition. Then we get you through algebra, geometry, and then calculus.
Then when we start calculus is then we can finally begin the process of getting you to a level where you can understand quantum physics. And once we're there, then we can get you to the level of, oh, this is what Hawking radiation is, and this is what this equation does in context. But it's a similar jump from derivative to bottom of quantum physics as from addition to derivative. And so you're like, oh, these are the levels that Radovan is above you. And so, yeah, you wouldn't get anything. And it's kind of like what he said. Next to him, you are kind of like a child in terms of, the knowledge that you have. And maybe at a different time, he would begin to explain things to you, but he doesn't feel he has the time to take a 3-year-old from basic addition to quantum physics.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think Angel would kind of lapse into silence for a while before saying, do you like doing this kind of magic?
It has its uses. Do you like using a hammer?
It can be fun to hit things sometimes.
There you go.
What, do you do in your free time then?
Well, I have not had free time for now many decades. I have learned to paint quite well. I like to search out recent trends, stay updated. It's quite easy to hole up for a decade, pop your head out, and everyone's using new words. I do not understand these words sometimes, so I'll try to stay updated. But books, play shows. At one point, I was a famous singer, traveling the Dark Ring. At another point, I ran a series of more than 80 bakeries on the Primordial Ring. It all depends on the whim and on the fancy.
Huh. What'd you sell in those bakeries?
Well, pastries, breads. Sometimes I would use a technique that had been forgotten, and all the customers would say, "What a great creation." It was not a creation at all, just the revivification of a long fallen bloodline. But others sold cakes, pies, all sorts of things.
I would be nice right about now. I don't think I've had one in... Oh, I don't even know how long now.
Well, we likely don't have the rations to spare, unfortunately. Although, if we were able to get this time dilation room up and running, we might have such an opportunity, an excess of resources. But the children wish to build their home.
Yeah, it... We'll be sure the farm's up and running soon, I think. I suppose sleeping on the ground is... well, more of a... or... I should say the farm is more of a long-term investment, but I think a lot of people are thinking about how much their backs are aching right about now, sleeping on the ground.
Did you not sleep on the ground for many months getting here? Oh, how short the mind is for mortals.
You get a taste of the slightest bit of luxury, you're reluctant to let go of it.
Hypocrisy. At its finest, I suppose.
It looks like the The building's being reconstructed quickly, though. I don't think it'll be too much longer now.
How much longer do you think we have?
I don't know. I would like to say days, but that's probably optimistic.
I suppose, in the strangest way, you must live for a millennia to understand the value of a second. Seconds, they make all the difference. Wasted seconds, wasted days. They can be vicious things.
They can be. I suppose even with busy ones, you've spent all that time wondering, even then, if you spent your seconds the right way.
For a vampire, it is less of a concern. We have many more seconds. The plans go for longer. You start to feel the accretion of waste, and truly can look back and find 15 wasted seconds 20 years ago making all the difference now when the angry mob is trying to destroy your home. But again, it is the long eye, the view of older things.
I think Angel's just kind of nodding. All right. Well, thank you for humoring me with this discussion. I know you're busy, but it was nice.
Was I humoring you? I did not know.
Oh. Well, either way, I'm glad you... It was nice to spend the time together.
I was truly serious. You would make a good vampire.
I appreciate that, and I'll think on it. I've spent quite a long time hurting mortals, quite frankly, and I'm still trying to undo that now.
You view the mortals that you hurt in two distinctly different camps. The ones that you care about, and the ones that you don't. You're going to hurt them no matter what. And sometimes you believe that if you can just make the box just right, that you can live a guiltless life. Do you know how intelligent a pig is? It is a very intelligent creature. The same with many livestock, bird, even insect. There are certain ant colonies that in their collective
have an intelligence similar to a mage of many years. It is just dispensed across many different creatures. But give them the ability to comprehend a game of checkers, and they will beat the experienced mage. You go through life, and you step on many ants. You take the long view then. Could not be helped. Take the long view now. In time, perhaps you will come to a similar conclusion. Every creature needs to eat. Every creature needs to move. Every creature needs to function. And even in your most basic functions, you destroy. The vampire destroy many less. We are sustained by one human, when that same human would have slaughtered 30, 40 pigs, destroyed any number of creatures. Take the long view. Choose the humane route. Our father's sin was intelligent. He gifted us this internal misdeed, this fault that is not a fault that is deliberate, a fault that allows us to correct. He would not hate a snake for eating bird eggs, especially if the bird was a jay whose babies would grow and would destroy the nests of others. It is only a recommendation, but the long view, it is a peaceful thing.
I really do appreciate the recommendation. Thank you. And I will consider it.
That's not to say that I am not a monster in the eyes of many, for I have killed many. And I do not deny it. There is no point in doing so.
You are a monster to some, but you are also a savior to quite a lot of us here.
A monster and a savior are not mutually exclusive, Angel. They are not opposite words. Magion is a monster and a savior. He is not one or the other. He is both. Can be both to the same people. You try and make boxes. There are none. There is just what is.
I suppose so.
Look at the world.
understand that there are thinking, intelligent beings. And also understand that, well, a steak tastes good. A steak is required to live at times. We could be creatures of less, but sometimes we choose to be creatures of more. And this is not a bad thing. It just requires you to acknowledge where you stand. You could be a creature of more without being a vampire.
I think Angel will just nod. Kind of taking it all in still. I have been curious. Why does Magion have such a vendetta against you?
Well, many reasons could apply. Great number of his Veskers have fallen by my hand, the hand of my Dracul. There was a time recently in Kovorov I sought to summon a crimson storm, create a paradise for myself and the other vampire, a land of night. It would have been nice. Magian soldiers were there and many died. I lost. It happens. I think he does not like how I disrupt the order of things. It was likely good at the time, though. I did not understand the powers that were manipulating me. A piece of the Dark Star placed within my body. The Crimson Storm, a test for what eventually was used to create Ishin anew. I was a scapegoat. Oops. It happens. There are a million different opportunities where we have come to hate each other. He destroys a vampire community. I destroy a group of his Archmagos. Manipulate a plan. Alter things. Everything comes to a head every now and then. I think he hates me because he knows that at times I got the better of him. There was once a time in a city called Brahova where I did just that. What was it now? More than 500 years ago. I came to power. I created many Dracul. I even ate the material god of the city. I was powerful then. It's how I I took a Thorvian called the Stormcaller. The blood is lost to me now, but I have been able to manipulate some base parts of its magic. It's how I learned more about the Red Lightning and the calling of storms. The Ardmagos attempted to intervene. They were slaughtered. It was nothing personal. They were just trying to undo my rule. And so me and my Dracul feasted on them. And it seemed like we would have our nation. Until the Lord of Mists sent his sigillites. And they came, and well, they slew all the Dracul. All my vampires, one by one. Power of the High God unleashed. And then the Lord of Mists threw me away in a prison. And yet they never rebuilt Prahova. They just hated me. Hated us. I believe if they actually liked the city, it would not be a ruin 500 years later. But oops. Who knows?
I'm sorry about your Dracul. That's awful.
Yes. It was not the worst fate for them, though. Other Dracul have been remade. Much like Anahi, I suppose. Even our maiden. Twisted and contorted. No longer children of sin. The gift burned away. Those who did these acts, they act elated, they cheer, they mock. How privileged their position. They laugh and they mock as they have stripped a being of eternal life, power and knowledge, and broken them. The toddler has a wand. It shoots fire. They burn down their house to roast a marshmallow. How dignified.
It's hard to be stripped of who you are.
No. It's not. Blood is not an infallible container of memory. It must be preserved and protected. But to those who have focus and will, it's very easy to strip someone of who they are. Make them nothing. Transform them into a statue of salt, where there once was flesh. Althara the Impure. How long have you been a statue of salt, I wonder? And how many out there are enemies also statues of salt? So many. But again, the curse of the long view. I suppose it is the vampire's burden. Or the vampire's gift.
Doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, from what I hear.
Hmm.
No, that storm caller magic you mentioned. I bet when there's some time, people would love to hear about that.
Well, she knows where to find me.
Yeah. You've certainly given me a lot to think about.
Have I?
And it's nice. I tend to get stuck in thinking that one way is the way it has to be. So it's nice to hear other perspectives.
Well, I'm glad to be of use.
Right. Right. Well, I'll leave you to it. But if you need help with something I'm able to help with, you know where to find me.
Very well.
I think Angel would kind of give him a final nod. And they'll probably leave him to his work after that.
Alright. Then you head back out. Is there anything else you wish to do during this downtime?
I think there's... Yeah, I think they'll go ahead and probably collect some incense from Margot. Probably, if she's able to spare it. Maybe get kind of a basket of some apples. Might go to the community center and see if there's kind of maybe a game set they can kind of grab that won't be missed.
Yeah, you can do that.
Cool. Then they'll probably mosey over to the Temple of the High Gods.
Okay.
All the way back to the 12th altar again.
Mm-hmm.
They'll kind of, they'll do their little thing. They'll kind of dust off the altar, make sure it's nice. Kind of light the incense and set their basket on top. Hello, 12th. I wanted to bring you these as just a bit of a thank you, honestly. I know you helped me, and from what Gunnevar told me, you helped him as well. And, yeah, I appreciate it deeply. I don't know what's going to happen with what's about to go down soon, but I hope that, no matter what happens, the brigade can still stand, that you'll be able to watch over them still, help them grow. And they'll kind of end it there. They just wanted to do a bit of a quicker prayer.
Okay.
Um, and then, kind of on their way out, maybe if some of the other altars are looking a little bit dusty or grody or anything, they'll kind of tidy those up too on their way out.
Gotcha. There is an altar that you pass by that is definitely pretty run down. You can't tell which altar it is, though, at this point, and you just kind of brush everything off and kind of look at the weird amalgam mass of whatever this ooze god was at some point. You're like, oh, okay. Keep on going and cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Would Angel be able to recall if that was where Sin's altar was before?
Nope.
Okay.
But
Then,
I
yeah,
can
they'll
tell you
give
out
it
of game,
up.
it's Sin's altar.
Gotcha. Then yeah, they'll. I mean, they don't know whose it is, but they'll give it the same treatment they're giving the rest.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably it for specific downtime things, although I'll probably yoink another recovery to put me back at 3.
Gotcha. I mean, if you... Did you give blood to Radovan?
Oh, yeah, Angel would have. So, sorry, may I yoink 2 to get me to 3 then?
Sure.
Cool. That's good, because I have a feeling we're going to need that soon.
Then it is here where we will end the downtime for today. Yippee!
Yahoo!